everybody, it is Lisa. It is Rambling Hour with Lisa, and we are live from my garden. I'm going to pull my chair in a minute. This is actually at the table where I sit and do my journaling in the morning. So, but I wanted you to see my outfit. I tried to make my Bitmoji look like, I even tucked in this shirt like the Bitmoji. So this shirt, I didn't know if I had anything to wear, but I brought some old clothes down from the loft that we need to go through, me and Steve, because we've lost weight and because I'm not in my 20s anymore. I need to get rid of a bunch of my clothes that I probably won't wear again. So Steve had a bunch of t-shirts and stuff, and I opened it, and this was like right on the top. So it was perfect for the Euro final today between Italy and England. So I chose this, and I made a Bitmoji to look like this, and it had like black shorts on. I'm wearing leggings, but that's okay. And it had it tucked in like this, so I just did it to match my Bitmoji to support the football. I don't play. I don't care to watch. I have nothing against it. I'm just not into it. So let me pull up my chair. So I'm sitting at the table, and let's get started. So I hope everybody's had a good week. This is how you know that you have a lot of white hair, when you dye it a medium blonde, and as your white hair is coming in, your roots don't look as bad because it's mostly white. So anyways, today I made a list of things to talk about so that I wouldn't be like lost in space if I didn't have anything to talk about. Some of the things I tried to talk about last week, I lost my train of thought, or I didn't know what I was talking about, so I will talk about them this week. I know I'm an hour earlier today. That is because of the Euro Live. I figured that anybody who supports England, whether they're in this country or in Canada, and I know I went to school with a lot of people who are of Italian descent and love Italian football, so they might be watching the game for Italy as well. So I figured that anybody who is watching the game is going to be watching the game right when my live is, usually from 8 till 9 or from 1 till 2 in Mountain Standard Time. So I decided to do it an hour earlier so that that anybody who wants to watch a game can watch a game. I won't be watching the game, but I'll be doing my workout when Steve's watching the game when I'm done my live. So it's been overcast all day. It hasn't really rained, but it's been overcast, but it's cleared up a little bit, so the sun is peeking through a little bit, which is nice for me to be able to do my live from outside. But even if it started raining, we would hear it over here because of the parasol or umbrella above the table here. But I could still continue my live even if it starts raining. So hello, Mommy. Hello, Melody. I hope everybody's well. So, yes, let me look at my list. So last week I told you that I'm almost done reading this book, and it's really not a long book, but I don't sit down to read as often as I should. And last week I couldn't remember the name of it. It's called Beyond the Explosion, Stories of the Light by Jenny Krakow, and it is stories of veterans who have had near-death experiences. And it starts a bit slow. Some of the ones in the beginning, they're still good, but they're just short. And, but this one that I'm reading right now, it's one of the longer ones. And I'm almost done. I think there's one more story right after it. It's written so well and intense, and everything you read, you're just like, and then what happened? Oh my God, and then what happened? And it's pretty intense. And that's not just the near-death experience part. That's the being in battle and being in, right on the front lines of war and what you go through. So let me see. Hang on a second. Sorry. There's in the contents, there's 5 stories. The first 3 are in Vietnam, the Vietnam War, and then the 4th one is Baghdad, and that's one I'm reading right now, which is like super intense. And then the one after that is Iraq. So I'm almost done reading that book. And also, it took me 16 weeks, but I finished The Way of the Tortoise, a journal to happiness. So I didn't write in the book because I didn't want to wreck it. But I wrote it I read all this stuff when I started, and then I wrote the questions and stuff and the quotes and everything. I wrote it in a book, And yeah, so I finished this and I really loved it. And I loved how this feels, the leathery feel of it and everything else. So I really enjoyed it and I recommend it. Anything to do, you know, self-improvement. So what else do I have on my list to talk about? Yes, the Euro 2020 final I talked about. So I've been taking my eating seriously, and as you guys know, I'm still working out. And today, when I do my workout, it'll be, see, I wrote it down this time because I can never remember, 328 days in a row that I've worked out. So 428 for Steve, and we're stepping it up a notch. Hello, Auntie. So it has taken almost 2 years and my weight has stayed around 12 stone. They do stones here, which 1 stone is 14 pounds. So 12 stone is 168 pounds. So I've stayed around there, even working out and my body changing and everything else. I've stayed around that 168, which is fine. But I know that there's still, like, I know muscle weighs more than fat, but I knew that I could still have a smaller weight and be fit and healthy and everything else. So the last couple days I've been losing a bit of weight, which is good, although I'm like, oh my god, what if it's muscle? But I've just, because I've changed my eating habits and stuff, it's finally starting to pay off and I'm doing my workout and everything. So like I said, me and Steve are stepping it up a notch, taking it to the next level, and we are doing really well. And yeah, I'm just really excited with this. I know my body's changed. I'm looking forward to trying on that clothes that I said I got down from the loft, that we'll see what I fit that I haven't fit for a long time, and keep going with my fitness and eating healthy. So Melody, you asked if it's the Euro 2020 or Euro 2021. The thing is that it's actually the Euro 2020, but because of COVID, they weren't able to play it. And Steve just told me this yesterday. Instead of changing it to Euro 2021, because so many of the sponsors and everybody already had everything printed with Euro 2020, they just decided to keep the title the way it is, even though they're playing the games in 2021. So yeah, it's the Euro 2020, like, championship. So European Championship, yeah. So, let's see, the garden's looking amazing. I'm really happy with the progress, and I like that I'm starting to just focus on each flower bed or set of pots or whatever, instead of, you know, buying more and just like not knowing where, and not taking care of things the way they need to be. So I'm really focusing and moving around the garden and taking care of the ones that I have and seeing them grow and seeing what they do and which ones I love and which ones I've killed and I don't care to replace because they weren't what I wanted anyways. So I'm loving being in the garden. I haven't had like huge sunny weather this week. It's been pretty overcast and stuff, and the gray clouds and stuff make me feel sad and miserable, but I've still tried to get outside and enjoy the garden, and I'm still grateful for the beautiful garden that I do have. Like I said, the view behind me is wonderful. Well, the view everywhere is wonderful, but this is where I sit and do my journaling in the morning at this table. So it's cool that I can set this camera up and you guys can see what my journal sees every day. Today is episode 12 of the Rambling Hour of season 3. So that's 3 seasons, and today's the last episode for season 3. So when I next do it next week, or well, I don't know if I'm going to take a week off and then start season 4, or if I'm just going to start straight next Sunday. I'm going to say I'm going to start next Sunday, although we are going to actually, yeah, it might be better to take a Sunday off just because I think we're going to see Steve's dad out of town next Sunday. So, yes, my mom said it's been hot there. I know, I think I told you guys last week that it was in the 30s, and even some places in Alberta, it was in the 40s, where my mom and sisters live, and a lot of my friends. That's just ridiculous. And I know there's places in the world that get that hot, but that's hotter than normal for Alberta and on the prairies. So yeah, at least they were camping for that week when it was the hottest, and it's probably still hot there. I think coming up this week, I mean, it's still been nice here, you know, like 19, 20 and stuff, but with the clouds, it doesn't feel as, you know, I just like the sunshine. So coming up this week, it's supposed to be nice, and I think next weekend it's supposed to be nice and some sun. So when we go to visit Steve's dad, then I'm hoping we can go to the seaside if it's nice. So yes. Okay, so end of season 3. See, I have my list. So I have things to talk about. Maybe I should talk slower though, so it doesn't take, so it, what what am I saying? So that it takes up more time in my hour of rambling. So sad news. I don't know if you guys remember when I first moved here, shortly after I first moved here, because I had to leave my dog Frankenstein in Canada, it was very hard for me to decide if I wanted to get a dog when we were here, because I never want to leave a dog again. I never want to have to leave one again. I'm a lifer. You know, I get a pet, it's for life. And that was really one of the hardest things I've had to do in my life. But Steve's best friend, Stuart, moved closer to here, and he got himself a dog named Max. It was a American, I think, was it a Staffy? Hang on, let me think. American, maybe it was American Staffordshire. And so I used to call Max my part-time dog, and me and Stuart shared custody. So when Stuart would work out of town, or he needed a break from Max, because, you know, Max does a lot of work and stuff, we would have Max here. So Max was my part-time dog, and that was before we had Lena. And even when we had Lena, Max and Lena got along great, and I've missed my Maxie, and with COVID and everything, we haven't seen Max as much as we used to. And Stuart hasn't worked out of town and stuff, so we haven't, or gone on vacation, so we haven't had Max here for, you know, a few weeks, or, you know, like, I just missed having my Max time. And I had just been thinking about him, and then Steve called me to tell me right away, because he knew that I'd want to know. But Stuart brought Max into the vet because something was wrong with Max, and he had a growth. Melody, similar to you, he had a huge tumor, but it was, I think it was in his kidneys, something, but it was it would have cost a lot of money to operate, and he wouldn't have had a very good quality of life after the operation. And so it was just better if he put him down. And it was so sad that, you know, we didn't even get to say goodbye. But yeah, so my little Maxie poo-poo, my little part-time dog, is passed away now. So that's something I didn't post about yet, or tell anybody, but it happened in this last week, like a few days ago. So life, you know, Max will have to meet up with Frankenstein, and they can play over there. Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, Lena's gonna be 9 soon, in August, and I said, oh, at least, you know, if she lives till she's 12, we have like 3 more years. And then Steve said, Tia, his German Shepherd that he had before Lena, died either just before she was 10 or when she was 10. So I'm like, don't say it. But I know it's part of life, and it's part of having animals and pets. And, you know, but it's really hard, because I've been missing Max, and I didn't get to see him for quite a while, and so I don't even get to see him and say goodbye. But c'est la vie. So the only other thing I have on my list is talking about crystals and stones. And because I listened to a podcast called Psychic Teachers, and I listened to a lot of different podcasts, but just stuff about pretty much the stuff that Jackie and Steve teach, but because they're not doing classes right now and stuff, and this is a podcast, I can listen to all this good information. I recommend the Psychic Teachers because they are very similar to Steve and Jackie, where they know their stuff and they actually know what they're talking about. But with them, the 2 teachers, their names Samantha and Deb. Okay, Melody says, tell Stu sorry for me, please. And I will tell him. So Samantha and Deb, Samantha is really into her crystals and stones and everything else. And Deb is, she's Wiccan. No, she's not Wiccan. She's a pagan. Yeah, pagan. And so those are 2 different things. And Samantha was raised Catholic, so they have different beliefs in a way, but they respect each other, and they teach together and stuff, and they're really good. But when they tell me about different crystals and what different stones and crystals do, I mean, they don't just tell me, it's a podcast, so they're telling everyone which different crystals do which things for different people and everything. I think, like, that's great, and crystals are beautiful, and, you know, maybe I don't, it's not that I don't believe that they have energy. I totally do. I know everything, lots of things hold energy and do different things and stuff, but I just, my brain, I just don't have the desire to know that much information about something and to learn all those things. But then I was thinking, except I know so much about plants, and I'm obsessed, and I keep learning, and it's been years. So I was thinking maybe I need to, you know, not just medicinally, but maybe I need to learn more about plants and which plants are good for, you know, if somebody's going through a hard time in life, is there a plant that is better for them to have around for energy purposes, or is there, you know, so I might look, maybe I might start being obsessed with plants in that way, my spiritual life and my plant life together. So that was something that I wrote down that I could talk about. And now I'm done my whole list, and that's only 15 minutes. Oh my gosh. It's more than last time, but, I mean, it was only a half an hour of rambling hour last week. I don't know how many of you missed me or not, but listen, people can't say anything if they miss me or they want to see me or they want to spend time with me if they're not even going to watch my lives even later, because if they miss me and they want to catch up with me, I'm absolutely willing to do one-on-one video chat, so it feels like we're having coffee with each other and having a visit and a chat. But yeah, I'm not gonna feel guilty about those friends who try to make me feel guilty that we don't spend time together, because I'm trying, you know, I invite people to do one-on-ones, and what am I saying? I do this so that I can catch up with everybody at once. And I know that there is, you know, there's a good number, even if 20 people, even if I only have 20 views, at least I know that some people, even if it's my mom and sister that watch it, I know that there's people who care to watch it. And then I do get feedback that people like my lives, and people that I didn't even realize watch it will say stuff about it. And so I'm going to keep doing them even if there's no viewers. But it is hard sometimes, like I said last week, it's hard to sit here and chat if there's no interaction. And I know Melody said she was too busy swimming in the lake. And I'm so glad, Melody, that you were healed enough from your surgery that you were able to swim in the lake, because it would be so hard to be at the lake and not be able to go swimming. That's what I hate about the seaside, is that, first of all, I've told you guys this before, the water is usually cold. It's not a tropical place, England. And salty. I don't like the salt water. I hate when it, you know, I don't mind getting splashed with the water, but I hate the taste of the salt. And then the other thing is, it's like when you finally get everything together and get down to the seaside and you're ready to go and you want to go swimming and the tide's out and you're like, are we even at the ocean? Because all I see is sand for miles. Like, are you sure that it's going to come back? And then it's like, what is it, 4 to 6 hours for the tide to go in, and then 4 to 6 hours for the tide to go out? Something like that, right? So yeah, it's like a long time. Actually, it comes in quite quick sometimes. You got to, like, once the tide starts coming in, sometimes you got to clear the beach to, like it'll come right up to the thing. So yeah, and there's so many safety things too, with like riptides and all this stuff to know. It's just not the same as living in a lake area. There's a place called the Lake District here in England, and I haven't been there, but I hear it's really nice there, and I don't know anything about it, so I don't know if there's lakes that you can swim in and do stuff like that, but maybe we'll have to go there one of these days. I know Samantha's been there, but I'm guessing Samantha's working because she's not on right now. So yeah, but I'm jealous that you were swimming. I don't want to wreck my grass with putting up Lena's Lena's little pool that I bought her. It's really cool because it folds up and goes away. It's for kids or pets. It wasn't cheap, but it was definitely worth it, and she walks in it. You've probably seen pictures of it on my Facebook and stuff. So I put her pool over around the corner where it can still get sun. But where I bought those like foam mats that you put in, like if you're making your garage into a gym, or some people put them into the garage so those foam mat things, I put them down on the asphalt or tarmac, whatever you want to call it, and then put her pool on it so it doesn't wreck the pool. But yeah, it's over on the side there. So, and then as you know, we have the bigger pool in the front, and it has some water in it, but I haven't got to go in it because as you guys were having those hot temperatures, I was having overcast and miserably, you know, I'm waiting for the hot days where I can go in it. Melody says, how did Steve and Owen enjoy swimming in the lake a couple years ago when we all went? Did they compare it to the seaside? I don't know for sure. I know with Steve that he doesn't like sand in his feet, so he doesn't, and then a lot of times, well, and he likes swimming, but we just looked it up, how many years ago was it now? It was about 6 years ago. think it was 6 years ago that he had the cellulitis in his leg. So he's very, and it's not a bad thing that he is. Maybe, you know, it probably is a good thing that he's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Careful, very precautious. He's very precautious about going into water and stuff like that, even though it's salt water, but there's still bacteria. And how you can get cellulitis is any opening on, even if you get a cut or something and bacteria gets in. And once you've had cellulitis, you're more prone to getting it again. So if bacteria gets into any kind of opening, you can get cellulitis, and it can be really, you know, dangerous. So he's scared to go swimming with good reason now, as opposed to before he had cellulitis really bad. So he doesn't want to do it much that way. But one of my favorite memories of that is in Turkey. When we went to Turkey, which I love Turkey, and I will definitely go back there. It was so awesome there. I love the people. I love everything about it. So, we were on this lake. We rented this boat with this guy. There's like the guy who drives it. It's his boat. There's different people with boats, and you just hire one of them. And he was a really nice guy, and it was like quite a big boat, and it was cool because he had an armchair on it too. And so Steve was sitting in the armchair, and we went to the middle of the lake, and me and the kids jumped off the boat, and we were swimming in the middle of the lake. And as you know, Melody, growing up at the lake and everything, it was just perfect. It was warm weather. The lake was nice and warm. We were swimming together. It was so much fun. And all of a sudden, boom, cannonball right over me. Steve flies over me and jumps in. And I was like, yes, awesome. Because, you know, like I said, he just hesitates to go swimming now. And it was so awesome that he jumped in, and we were all swimming as a family. And it's like, honestly, one of my favorite memories. And then getting on the boat, and then after that we went across the lake to one place where we went out and hiked up, and then saw some ruins, and another place that the boat took us, because we had the boat for all day basically, and then another place the boat took us, it was the mud baths, and that was really cool. And like nobody was there really except us, so we had like such a good day. But yeah, that memory of swimming in the lake, and the fact that the water was a nice temperature, and then him coming cannonballing over me and surprising me and swimming with us, is one of my very favorite memories. And also, once he got back on the boat, he realized that he did not take his wallet out of his pocket before he jumped in the water, which is such a dad thing, because Melody, if you remember growing up at the lake, that dad did that a few times too, where he would put on his shorts to wear around just on a hot day because he wanted to, and then he'd decide to go for a swim but forget that he still had his wallet in his pocket, which is really weird, actually, now that I think about it. That why didn't he just lock up his wallet somewhere? Why did he carry his wallet in his pocket at the lake when we were camping? What would you need your wallet for? But anyways, I just remember when we were kids, sometimes when Dad would go swimming and he would forget, and I remember the money hanging up on the clothesline to dry out. So yeah, when we were on the boat in Turkey, Steve had to lay out all his money and cards and everything that got wet in his wallet. So another fun memory. So I don't know, I will ask Owen and Steve what they thought about swimming in lakes compared to the ocean, although I'm not sure that they haven't swam in lakes before, because I met Steve in Ontario, and so there's the huge lakes, you know, the Great Lakes, and so I think he even went in Lake Erie with me. No, I'm thinking in Spain. I think it was in Spain that I got him to go in the ocean with me. And yeah, so I try to get him to come in with me, but like I said, he doesn't really like the sand on his feet, and he'll still go to the beach and everything with us. But yeah, so it was really cool that we got to travel to all those places, and then COVID happened. And to be honest, I'm okay with not traveling. It's not like the number one thing on my bucket list. I'm kind of a homebody, and that's okay, but I have a really good imagination. And now that I know more about the spiritual stuff, it's also like astral traveling or previous lives and stuff, and that's why I realize that I know other places so well, or I feel like I can just imagine what it's like in certain places. But definitely, I mean, I'm not going to say no to a trip if I get to go somewhere. And more than seeing old buildings, and although those things are really cool, you know, I like graveyards and old, like, churches and old buildings and museums and different places, and I love all that, like, heritage and stuff, but the culture and stuff. But but it's the holiday, you know, the family together and doing stuff and experiencing. Even when we went to Spain, one of the things we did there is we went to the craft store and I bought like clay, those big lumps of clay that you get, and we went back when we were in the hotel room and we made little like, well, let's say we made like a flat pancake, and then we put some shells or rocks in it and wrote Spain and the year on it, and all, me and Steve and the kids made like little keepsakes that we made in Spain and brought home. But it was like about the family and doing things like that. So yeah, I mean, do you know that one of my very best weeks of my life was with Steve in August 2014. We started dating in May of 2014, and we kept it secret for a while because he wanted to tell Jackie, his, you know, business partner, and also they're my teachers, so I didn't want to ruin the dynamics of that, and we were seeing if it would work and stuff. So we had kept it a secret for a bit, but in August of that year, like June, July, August, so like 3 months later, he came across to Canada, and I've said this before, that was when it sealed the deal for me, because in the past I couldn't even get a guy to like drive across the city to see me, let alone like put in any effort for anything. Here's this guy who's putting 2 businesses on hold, getting holidays, flying across the world to meet my parents and see me, and it's like, oh my god, if he's willing to do that for me, then this is definitely the guy for me. But when he came, we had this intense week of seeing what Edmonton had to offer. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, the city that I grew up in. And we went to the Mutart conservatories, which people from Edmonton will know what they are, but they're like these huge glass pyramids, and there's 4 of them, and each one is a different, what's the term called? Like, one is like a desert, and one is like tropical, and there's a name for it. So each one is a different, like, type of place in the world, like where different plants and stuff grow. So it's really cool. And we went to at that time there was let me get this right, I need to remember how to pronounce it. Oh my god, I can't remember what it's called. It's horses. It's from somewhere, I think they're from somewhere in Europe actually. And I wanted to see it so bad. And it had these huge tents, like they look like circus tents with flags on top. Oh, it starts with a C. Why can't I remember it? Cavalia. So there was this horse performance Cavalia thing that I saw commercials for on TV, and usually I'm not too bothered about going to events and stuff like that, but this one was like, there was something about it that I wanted to see. So that week that he was there, we went to Cavalia, and it was so worth it. That was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, I even going to the circus when we were kids, or different like theater productions and different things, that Cavalia was so worth it. It was so amazing. So if it ever comes to where you are, or you look for it, it was absolutely spectacular. Like even one part, they flood part of it where there's water there, so it looks like a lake. It's so intense. It was so cool. Like, and they stand on the horses and do all this cool stuff. It's amazing. So in that week, we went to the Mutart Conservatory, we went to Cavalia, we went to Galaxyland, which is an indoor amusement park with huge roller coaster and everything else, because Steve loves roller coasters even though he has a broken neck. And we went on the riverboat, the Queen, I think it's called the Queen Elizabeth II, like the QE2 riverboat on the North Saskatchewan River in Edmonton. And that's one of the things we did with my parents and all the kids and my sister and her kids and stuff. And we did so much in that week. I'm probably forgetting things. Oh, we went to the water park. Yes, we took my cousin April's kids to the water park with us and our kids, and Melody and her kids went as well. And we went to the World Water Park. So in West Edmonton Mall, which is one of the world's biggest malls, there's the Galaxyland, which is a huge indoor amusement park. So you got to think, like in Edmonton, in the middle of winter, when we have lots of snow and everything else, you can't just have like your amusement park open outside. So that's why they built this huge indoor amusement park. They also have this huge indoor water park, which is, I believe it's still the world's, well, it's one of the world's largest indoor water parks as well, and it has so many water slides, and like it has a wave, like the waves come up on the beach like you're at a tropical place and everything else. And sorry, Melody's comment distracted me when we were talking about Cavalia. I said it was really intense, and it like literally was intense, like as in, you know, tense. like, yes, that is hilarious. So yeah, so we went to the water park, and Melody, if you remember, we did the old-fashioned photos, and we did so much in that week. It was like an expensive week, but it was one of the best weeks of my life. And my point was that was doing stuff. Oh, we went to Fort Edmonton, which is, so Edmonton, there's like Fort Edmonton, so it's like old Edmonton, like from the 1800s and early 1900s, where it was a fort, and you know, and it's all wood and old, like a blacksmith and the old, like all those old things. We went there, but we dressed up. We went to Value Village, which is like a charity shop, a secondhand shop, and we got clothes that would fit the period. And we went to Fort Edmonton. It's like a heritage place, and so that when we took pictures, because I think it's so funny when you go and visit somewhere and then you take pictures and you're like a tourist, right? So everybody's in costume behind you, the whole atmosphere looks so amazing, and then you take a picture and you're like in modern clothes, and it just is like, oh, definitely tourist. So we went there, but we dressed up the part so that we looked like we were just like actors too. And the cool thing was that there was very few people at Fort Edmonton that day, so we maybe snuck over the little red lines and took photos in the scenes so that we looked like we were part of it. And even the ones that we didn't sneak into, we just did different things. Like when we went into the shop, I pretended, Steve went behind the counter and I pretended I was a customer complaining about something, and my kids were there. And then one in the schoolhouse, I was pretending I was the teacher, and the kids were sitting in the seats, in the desks and stuff. And like, all those things were in my hometown. And it didn't even have to cost a lot. We could have went to the park. We could have done like whatever. And it was just being together. And so I think that as much as it is great that we get to travel, and we will get to travel again, Steve is the one who, I'm not, like I said, I'm not as bothered about traveling, but he gets the travel bug. Like, he wants to go. He is, you know, and we've, like I said, I've been lucky, especially living here, because it's closer to some of these places. Like when you live in Canada, you will maybe go to Mexico or some of the places in the States and that, but here, being closer, so I've been to Scotland and Ireland and Wales, which is all part of the UK, and then and Ireland was on my list of places to go that I wanted to go in the world. And we've been to Turkey and Spain. And obviously I've been to Canada. I've been to the States, not with Steve, but I've been there when I still lived in Canada. And then England is where I live. So I am grateful for all of our traveling and everything. Two places that I've always wanted to go, even before I traveled anywhere or dated Steve, is Egypt and India. So those are places that, oh, and Australia, I would love to go there as well. So if I travel to those, like, those are destinations that I'd like to get to. But if I don't, I'm okay with that. But I don't take for granted that we've got to go to these beautiful places and then spend time together as a family and yeah, enjoy life. And there's just some things about the trip to Turkey that were different. It was like the place that we stayed, I don't know what I would call it. It's not a hotel, it's not a motel. It's like it's kind of like apartments, sort of. They're like a terraced house. Like, it just, you know, like the bedrooms are on the second floor and the kitchen and living room are on the main floor. Although we did use the living room as a bedroom as well, because we had like 4 kids with us. But so we made our own food, we bought our own groceries, we did all that, and there was this pool like right outside of it, and it was communal. But again, there wasn't very many people. Then it wasn't the huge tourist time, which is why at the mud baths and stuff there wasn't a lot of people either. And we went swimming. The kids would go like in the morning before we went out for the day, and then when we got back in the evenings, and because we were the only ones there, really, the man who ran the place didn't mind if we were swimming later than when the pool closed. And it was just like our own little heaven. It was just, and the weather there was so hot, but not too hot. It was just like so nice. Like, there was so much of it, besides the fact that I said that the people in Turkey were amazing and everything else. Samantha, my best friend here, as you guys know, her parents own a place in Turkey. So that's one of the destinations for some of the people in England that they like going, which you wouldn't have thought, but it's amazing there. So when things open up and stuff, we might go. And it's actually where they have a house in Turkey isn't very far from the places that we went and visited. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about besides all me and my stuff? because this isn't just about me, even though I'm the one rambling. It's about visiting with you guys as well. So tell me what you guys want to talk about, or if, yeah, I'm going to have a drink while you guys give me some topics. I sound like I could hear myself drinking. Sounded like an animal. Melody says she loved Tina's pictures about Croatia. I knew some people from Croatia when I still lived in Canada, so I think that I would enjoy going there as well. But I think the architecture would be great there too. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy is like how different architecture is in different places in the world. Melody says, so it looks like a beautiful place that she'd like to go. Absolutely. Like I said, I wouldn't say no to a trip to anywhere. So I think every place has things to offer, but I think even before COVID, but even more so with COVID and stuff like that, you need to see what's in your own backyard. Like, don't take for granted. Like, it's the same thing with like living in England and seeing all these big churches and castles and all these things. And if you talk to people who have lived here their whole life, they probably haven't even been to some of the castles, or, you know, they just take it for granted. So how many times living in Alberta have you guys gone to the mountains that are right there, or living in Ontario, gone to Niagara Falls or the Great Lakes, or done any of those things? And there's so many people who wish they could go to Canada, wish they could see the things that we take for granted there. And then in Canada, there's so many people that wish they could come over to Europe or, you know, the UK, or see the things that we can see here. So you know, even when I go for a walk here, I got to enjoy looking at the old churches and the old buildings and everything else, because just like I never knew I was going to live here, you never know where life's going to take you next. So I don't know. I could be here for the rest of my life. You never know how long I have to enjoy the things that are around me. So as much as traveling is great, look what there is to offer at the, you know, right around you. Okay, that was only one topic, but we can talk. Tina is my little sister, and she is a travel bug. She has been to so many places in the world. If I'm not mistaken, Melody, you can help me out. There's 7 continents. Has she been to all of them? North America. I don't know. Has she been to South America, like South and Central America? So I don't know if she's been to those. North America, South America. Asia she's been to, Australia she's been to, Europe she's been to, there's 2 more, Antarctica, I don't think she's been there, and which one am I missing? Yeah, how I remember it is they're like all A's except Europe is an E though, so it's still a vowel, but like Asia, Africa, Africa, America, South America, North, Australia, all A's. Asia, did I say Asia? Africa, Asia, North and South America, Australia, Europe, and Antarctica is an A. So I don't know if Tina's been to Africa. Yes, she has. Yeah, I think she has been to Africa as well. Because she bought our kids, the youngest kids, the 3, mine and Melody's son, and our brother's daughter, they were all born in the same year. She made them these nice frames with pictures of animals that she took the pictures, she painted the frames, 4 little IKEA frames, and then glued them together. And she painted it looks like, you know, if it was a tiger in the picture, the frame was painted like tiger stripes. And she bought them elephant toys, stuffies. So she's been to Africa. So I don't know if she's been to Antarctica, but I think I went through them all. And so Antarctica, you'll have to ask Tina because she's not watching. So Antarctica and South and Central America, those are the 2 continents I don't think she's been to. Melody said she camped in the Serengeti. Is the Serengeti Desert in Africa? I'm not really good with my geography. I used to really love it when I was in school, and I actually bought all these puzzles, which I haven't even taken them out and done all of them, but like I like the England one especially, to learn the different counties. You know, we do have counties in Canada, but we don't really look at what counties are in a province. So, but you still do the provinces, right? So you learn how many provinces are, what their names are, what their capitals are, and everything else. Well, here I'm like trying to learn the different counties. You know, we live in Cheshire, but then you get out of Cheshire and you're in, you know, this one, and so that's where most of the photos came from, Melody said. So the Serengeti. So that is, yeah, that's cool. I'd like to go to Africa as well. Well, Egypt's in Africa, so that would, you know, that would work. But I mean, also in the, like, I'd like to go to South Africa, but I'd like to see like the, you know, like the like, I don't know what it's called, like the safari. It's like Africa's so big that there's, you know, it's just like Canada or Australia, like there's different parts to it that have the different things to offer. But yeah, there is places I'd like to go. But I love that we live in a world with not just technology like this, but even when we were growing up with TV and documentaries, and that you can see things that you never would have seen before. Even looking at a book with photos in from different places in the world. Like, imagine like the world before you even knew that there was anything else out there besides what you had. You could only, when people thought the earth was flat, I realize there's people now, but I mean when they thought it was that small and they were the only things, and yeah, and now we get to like, and now there's even virtual, like, what's it called? Virtual reality. Yeah, virtual reality, where you can wear the thing or put your phone in it, and you can like go inside like the pyramids or whatever, and you look around and it's like 3D, and it's like you're there, and like the things that like we can see now about all the different places in the world is amazing. And like I said, I have a really good imagination, so me watching a documentary on Egypt could make me feel like I've been there just as much as being there. So it's I just think it's amazing how we can learn about the different places in the world. And to be honest, there is so many things in the world to see and to do and everything else that we won't fit it into a lifetime. Even if I was a billionaire, I still wouldn't be able to see everything that the world has to offer with architecture and museums and history and all of that stuff that I would want to see. So tell me more about where you guys would want to travel or where you have traveled. I know Meg was watching. I don't know if she is now, but you guys saw her not last week, but the week before. She was my surprise guest. I didn't even know she was going to be my guest that week. But and her mom is from Wales, which is right next to England here, and we go to Wales a lot. But it is weird how the connections all over the place. There was somebody else that, you know, it's funny because I have a friend named Dee who lives in Saskatchewan, and she's from England, but she met a Canadian man and married him, so they live in Canada, and she lived where I lived in Saskatchewan, so they're still there, I'm not, but she's living there, the Canadian life with her Canadian husband. I'm living here, the English life with my English husband, and she's from near here. So her and Steve actually even know some of the same people. So it's just a small world. It's weird how we're connected. Melody says, I would like to travel to this place called Middlewich in England to visit my sister. Aw, you're so sweet. But see, the difference is that it's not that it's Middlewich, and it's not that it's England. It's that you miss me and you would come to see me anywhere in the world. And the cool thing is that you and my sister Tina and my brother Billy and my mommy and their spouses have been, not my dad because he passed away, but I mean my sister and brother's spouses have all been here. So my siblings, except Amber, have actually been to this house, to this garden, to this town, and seen this. And actually we did take Mom and Mel to Wales. So you've been to Wales as well. And my brother and his wife, they went to Ireland and Scotland when they were here. And Tina and Ryan, when they were here, and they visited us. I can't remember where. I think they might have went to Scotland that time too and stuff, but they had been to Ireland and Scotland before when they were just out of high school. So, and we were supposed to, just before COVID started, we were supposed to go and meet Tina and Ryan and the kids and my mom in France. And then we were going to steal my mom from them there and bring my mom back up here, and she was going to stay here for a couple months. But COVID happened, and I remember when it first started, and Tina and Ryan were kind of like, I don't know if we should plan this trip. There's this COVID thing going around, and then I was like thinking, oh, well, I mean, it's important to be like precautious, but it's probably not that big of a deal. So, and then it just kept getting worse and worse, as everybody knows, and then it was like, oh yeah, I think maybe we'll just, it's better to be healthy and safe than, you know, travel and die. So, I've heard that the variants in Alberta and stuff, I don't know how Canada's doing with the COVID and everything else. I'm just so nervous. Here, supposedly on the 19th of July, which is a few days after the kids finish school, because they, yes, the kids only have 6 weeks off in the summer, so they finish mid-July, but they get more weeks off during the year, so it works out the same as Canadian kids having the full summer off. But they get out on the 16th this year, and then on the 19th, all the restrictions are lifted, supposedly, here, and then wearing a mask is optional, and I'm just so nervous. I'm so nervous. And I know I've already had one jab, but the kids aren't, and I know at this point, most people have either probably had COVID or are vaccinated, and so the risk is lower, but I'm just nervous that I'm just paranoid, which is not like me, but it's just like when I see people like too close or, like not following the rules, I'm just scared. Steve asked me if I wanted to go to Tatton Flower Show, which is, as you guys know, next to Chelsea Flower Show in London. Tatton Flower Show is the second biggest in the world. So it's like what do you call those? Like Comic-Con, like conference, right? Like the Comic-Con stands for comic conference, like huge like show of, what's new and what's everything. So it's like a huge flower show, so flowers and plants and everything else. And I've been a couple times and I love it, but it's July, which is now. And Steve asked if I want to go, and I don't know if I'm ready. And I'm not trying to I know I'm a homebody and I try to get out of going places anyways, but it's not that. I'm really nervous about getting back out into life yet. I'm just trying to be precautious. It's been here so long, this COVID thing, that I'm scared until I know it's like contained. I'm just nervous. I don't know if anybody else is like me or if I'm being an unhealthy freak, as I get older, but it's just, Mom says in Alberta they're doing great and they don't have to wear masks. Yes, yeah, but I was reading this thing about the Calgary Stampede. Calgary is another city near Edmonton, and the Stampede is it's like their huge exhibition and carnival and like all that stuff, right? Their biggest thing of the year. And yeah, it sounds like lots of people aren't wearing masks. And Melody says, Mom, some shops won't let you shop if you are not wearing a mask. You know what? Here they put signs up that say a mask is required, but legally they can't force anybody to wear one. So it's like controversial, and I know that there's some things like that in Canada too, where they're saying like, is it fair to tell someone they can't? Oh yeah, there was this thing here with the pubs, something about if they have to prove that they've had the jab or that they've tested negative, and like a vaccine passport, and it's really touchy for a lot of people to decide if you should be able to get into somewhere or not get in based on that. And I mean, I'm torn on it too, because I don't know, I just think you can't get rid of something if everybody's not willing to do their part to make sure it goes away. So Melody says they are leaving it up to the business to decide, and I think that's fair. I mean, if you're not wearing, there's lots of places where it says no shirt, no shoes, no service. Oh, look, I see somebody behind me. It must be that time on a Sunday. Oops, that's not what I meant to press. 47 minutes. What time is it?
8:03? That's 7:03.
7:03.
7:53.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, was I that late? Okay, I love you. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
No, scooch down a little bit more. But you have food on your face too.
Yeah,
looks like you've been eating candy from your birthday.
No, it's not food.
What's this?
Bruise.
Oh, it's from sucking on a cup?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi.
Okay, I love you. Good night.
I love you too.
Sleep well.
Wait,
What does your shirt say?
Come
on. 0% interested. Show them. And I can't read on the bottom here. 0% interested. Adjective. Disinterest. No chance. Don't bother.
Don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother. Okay.
Ouch.
Whoa. Love you. Good night.
Bye. Enjoy life.
Thanks. So I'm doing better today than last week. I'm at 48 minutes and I've actually been rambling. And like I said, I don't mind even if it is just my mom and my sister, because at least they get to visit with me. Anybody else who wants to watch later is absolutely willing to, absolutely welcome to listen to me ramble in their ear, even if they're just listening to it on their headphones while they're going about their business, you know, doing like walking to work or doing housework or whatever. If they want to hear this lovely voice in their ear, I don't think it has the option like on my podcast when I listen to it. In my Audible books and stuff, I speed it up to 2 times, and Steve doesn't understand how I can listen to it that fast, but it's so weird when I put it back to 1 and people talk so slow, and I'm just like, oh my God. But I don't think you can do that with this, so hopefully I talk quick enough for you to, that it's not as... Melody says, I get my clothes folded while I'm watching you. See? Exactly. Multitasking. Because you don't really need to see me as much. I mean, you might like the background, and if I say, oh, look at this, then that's different. But for the most part, it's a rambling hour. I'm just rambling with my mouth. Although I do like hiking and going for walks in nature and everything else. So technically, I could be a rambling rambler. Maybe I'll do one of those lives. And there's this really funny podcast. Okay, there's a character. There's an actor who plays a character called... my brain just farts all the time. Alan Partridge. That's the character's name. And he is so... I love Alan Partridge. I love that character. He's so funny. And there's this one podcast called From the Oast House, which is where this character lives. And after COVID happened, he did like the character, you know, like he did a podcast from home, and it's so funny. And this one, he's like running, or he's gonna do walking or running or something, you know, to get in shape, and he's just out of breath while he's doing his recording, and so funny when Steve calls me, when Steve's gone for his power walks with the dog, and Steve calls me, I always sing the theme song from the Oast House, from the Oast House, from the Oast House. And it's, I know it's one of those things you have to, but I don't know if people will laugh at it like I do, but I have actually listened to it a few times, and it's not like me to go back to something and listen to it over. But I love that character, Alan Partridge. I'm sure you can look him up on YouTube and see some of his stuff. The character is a TV host, but he's a bit awkward and just, I don't know. It's hilarious. I think it's funny. So I think his character also is like, he's a host, a TV host, and I think he might be a radio personality as well. And he just says awkward things and does awkward things. In one of the episodes of the Oast House, like the podcast, he went up in the loft to look at some stuff because his grandkids he's gonna meet his grandkids for the first time because he had a falling out with his kids and blah blah blah. And the maid took away the ladder. She didn't know why the ladder was out, so she took the ladder away from the loft, and he was stuck up in the loft, and he was shouting down. And I guess again, it's like it's just it's my kind of comedy. I love stupid comedy. So yeah, him just shouting, Maria, and then luckily there was a window in the loft, so he opened the window and was like looking outside. And yeah, I think it's funny that he got stuck up there with no ladder. But yeah, so Oast House. Alan Partridge, Alan Partridge. And one of the lines he says too that made me laugh is something like, "I'm no chicken, I'm a partridge." No, yeah, I thought it was funny. Maybe this is why nobody watches my Rambling Hour lives, because I'm just in my own head with my own humor. So I am going to try and get a few things done in the garden, because I haven't really had any gardening time because I slept in and it's my own fault. And then I did my journaling. I made breakfast, then I did my journaling, and then when I was going to go in the garden, the girls got grounded. The 2 younger girls got grounded for being late for school for a few days in a row, and I told them if they're late again, they would be grounded. So they were late again. They got grounded. They've been grounded all weekend, but Steve was really impressed with their behavior this weekend. They didn't complain about being grounded. They didn't whine and mope around the house because they were grounded. They were actually really good. They played together well and hung out, and I guess saying a 13 and a 15-year-old played isn't probably something they want me to say. So they hung out. They were really positive attitude and really good. So Steve said they could be rewarded. I took them to McDonald's. I know it's not the best, but there's not a lot of options right now, like for that kind of stuff. So I took them to McDonald's for dinner, and I didn't have anything because me and Steve are being healthy and smart. And after that I got home and time just seemed to go by, and I was sitting and talking with Steve, and then I wanted to have a shower and figure out stuff for live, and then here I am for this. So I didn't really get any time outside today, which is fine because, to be honest, I had was it yesterday or the day before? No, it was yesterday. I did some tinkering in the garden, but it was Friday that I had super awesome, like, super day. It was like, and I didn't wear my headphones that day, so I got to listen to nature, and the day just seemed to go slow, but I got so much done, and it was like so peaceful, and the weather was like perfect. It was an amazing day on Friday in the garden. I absolutely loved it, and I felt like, okay, so even if I don't get to go in the garden on the weekend, I've had this day, and it was like, it was so good. So yeah, all right, so anyways, it is starting to get dark, but so it's like that twilighty feeling, but that's only because there's still cloud coverage. But I'm gonna try and get some things done in the garden, or just at least wander around and enjoy the garden before I have to go in. And what do I have to do? Oh yeah, I need to do my workout. Even though it's day 300 and, what did I say, 28? Yeah, 328. It doesn't mean that it's easy. I feel sometimes it's hard to like get to doing my workout, but it's the same thing I do all the time. I get my shoes and socks on, and I turn it on, and then I press play, and it's like I don't give myself the option. I don't sit and wait or anything else. I press play, and it's like, yep, do it. And it's only 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and yeah, sometimes it is really hard to get motivated to want to do it, and then it's hard work while I'm doing it, although I try to give it everything I can. And then after I'm done, I am so happy with myself. It's part of our, just like you have to get up for work, it's not an option, or you have to make your kids, you have to take care of your kids, you gotta, make sure they're fed or whatever. Like, these things aren't optional. That's how our working out is now. It's just not an option. You can't end your day without doing your workout. It's not an option. It's just something that has to be done. So, yeah, it's like now, there's just not an option. It's something I have to get done. So I am going to do my workout, and I need to eat my supper, even though I did warm it up before my live. It's a beef barley stew. It's so yummy. Steve made it yesterday. And so you don't even need that much because it's got beef and, because it's got barley and cauliflower and little baby potatoes in it, it is like super filling. So you don't even need that much to be full and sustained, and it's quite healthy. So I'm going to have that as well and work out, and then end my day. Steve is, it's 8 o'clock right now. I know that because I saw, my email gets like birthday reminders at 8 o'clock every night. So I saw that come down. So I know it's 8 o'clock, or a minute or two after now, but that means the game has started. So while Steve's watching the England versus Italy game, I will do my workout and then maybe read or whatever I want to do. And then I will watch TV with my love, Steve. And waking up with him and going to sleep with him is the best thing ever. It makes me so happy. I love my life with him. And I know it's pathetic, but I wish everybody could have the love like that. Oh, I hear people shouting. Okay, so I don't know if somebody already scored or if they're just getting really rowdy. We saw it in the news in London, and people were like drunk and they were just throwing their rubbish everywhere and being like really shitty. And that was this afternoon. They were already drunk, and the game didn't even start until like 8 o'clock, like right now, 8 p.m. here. So I can hear people shouting at the pubs and everything else. So it's going to be a crazy day, whether England wins or loses. It's going to be some crazy, I'm glad I don't have to go anywhere. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be anywhere near the pubs. I'm glad I'm not in London. Nothing. I don't want to be around the stupid people who act stupid, win or lose. So, I don't remember what, I looked at the time, 58. So I have 2 minutes, so I can do all maybe I'll finish reading that book, and I will start my new one. I'll get my gardening magazines and stuff that I read. I'll read those on the way to Steve's dad's next weekend. And there was a week, because I think, no, it's not his birthday. Is it his birthday? But there was something he was doing this weekend, so we couldn't go this weekend. And then the game is on and stuff. So we're going next weekend. So I'll read my magazines then. And yes, I hope you guys have a good week. We will see you next week. The summer is going by quickly. Even if I have gloomy days, it's still going by quickly. So please enjoy the summer. Put on sunscreen. Stay safe. And with COVID and everything else, you know, do what you need to do. And I will say hi, Mom, to, I'm guessing you mean Steve's dad, to say hi to, I can say hi to Steve as well. But I will, and yes, stay safe. I will see you not next weekend. So I'm going to take it, so this is the end of season 3. This is episode 12. So I'm going to take next Sunday off. So I will see you in 2 weeks here at the regular time. So 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 8 p.m. British Standard Time. All right, I hope you guys all have a good 2 weeks, and we will see you then. Enjoy the summer, and drink lots of water. Use sunscreen. Stay safe. I love you guys. Bye, Mom, bye, Mel, and everybody else who's watching this now or later. And go England. And we will know in 2 weeks. Well, we'll know at the end of the night who won. All right? Love you guys. Bye.